Okay, Tsenko, welcome. Welcome to the show. I am really excited to have you here. Going back to your master degree in tourism, you said that you tried to learn programming twice and you failed twice. What went wrong and why did you try to learn programming?
Well, hello, first of all. Thank you for having me here. It's a really great honor to be on your show. Um, Good question. I actually tried to learn coding more than twice, and I failed most of the times. Um, to be honest, I really missed that small motivation part every time that I started. I mean, I've hit the wall so many times trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong. And at the end, I just ended up with the thoughts, you know what, probably this is not for me. I'm super curious what's going on there, but I just cannot find the proper way to approach the things and to learn properly if you want. And yeah, always felt like there's something more. I really need to understand how things are working in the back, uh, and this was probably the thing that always kept me trying more than once or twice.
So what happened next? Tell me the story when you were working in insurance um, and then the COVID hit. Tell me what's happening when the COVID is hitting.
uh, I need to go back a little bit backwards before the COVID actually. Mm, when I graduated from high school, I wasn't quite sure what I'm going to do with my life. I wasn't sure what I want to do. And one thing led to another, and I ended up in the insurance business, starting as a something probably just to try it out. But when while working in the insurance business, all the companies are using a special software for issuing policies, and it was quite fascinating for me to know that, for example, you enter some data in some fields, and by clicking a button you receive a PDF file for the policy or for some documents and so on. And I was always curious what is going on the back. How is this thing happening? I mean, what's going on? How to? I really wanted to know how those softwares are actually working. Back then, I started. I don't know. Digging around a little bit, and I started with some HTML stuff, but super basic. And again, as I told you, I ended up hitting a wall, thinking, "Oh man, this is super difficult, super strange. It's totally different from everything that I've learned so far, I've read so far. It's not something for me." And life just kept moving. All of a sudden, I had already, I don't know, maybe 12 or 13 years in the insurance business. I have tried to learn coding probably three times or something like that, starting with Java, with JavaScript, C Sharp. I mean, trying all kind of different languages, always having that question on my mind: is this the right question, the right programming language for me? Which one should I start? Is this a good choice? Is it going to be hard, and so on? And every time I learned super basic stuff, I found out that everything is the same, despite the differences in syntax or something else. But I ended up always on the same spot, where you actually really want to invest truly a lot of your time just learning the stuff. And at some point during the COVID, when actually the first wave of the COVID hit and the lockdowns began, um, I really struggled back then because I had issues with my last job in the insurance business. Uh, it was really hard because my wife didn't have any job. I didn't have a job already. We had a Our son was probably 5 or 6 years old. I'm not sure. I don't remember. COVID lockdown hit. I didn't have any job. My wife was jobless as well. Our son was probably 5 or 6 years old. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember. And to be quite honest with you and everybody that's listening, I was wondering if I should start a job as a international truck driver back then, because I really, really needed a job real fast and I needed to provide for my family. And probably this is the moment that I really have to be thankful for to my wife, because she was the one that told me, "Hey, you wanted to try coding so much times. Don't you think that now is the perfect time for it?" I was able to benefit from our state program for people that because of the COVID are affected and don't have a job. I had exactly 10 months to benefit from this program, and I decided that I'm going to use that time just to learn coding. So, if I remember correctly, I started on the 5th or the 6th of November 2020, knowing only the basic stuff. I didn't know anything about object oriented programming, nothing more, just basic stuff. Um, I really digged a lot to find the proper course because I knew that I don't have that much time. I mean, the normal program here in Bulgaria, for example, probably takes about an year and a half or two from not knowing anything, zero background, to becoming a junior developer. And I didn't had 2 years to spare, so it was a tough choice. I've picked a course that started from ground zero and ended up with Spring Boot, if I remember correctly, for 6 months. Probably to those of you who have some experience know that 6 months from zero to Spring Boot is quite some stuff. Um, when started learning on that course, I felt really, really intimidated because the speed of learning was so fast, and you just don't have that time to practice all the new stuff that you learn. You don't have the time to feel comfortable with the latest stuff that you have learned. So I started digging again, finding some extra materials, YouTube videos, everything that I could find for the thing that we've learned. For example, on Monday, we had to present something or do some homework for the next 2 days, probably on Wednesday. And I've used the 2 days that I had to dig in whatever I can find. For example, I've started learning on YouTube. I found some really, really interesting videos, which were free, of course. Uh, la- probably the second or the third month, while trying to find some extra materials for learning again, I found a really amazing course for learning Java called CodeGym. Correct me if I'm wrong. The owners were from Ukraine, right,
Yes,
Igor?
this is a Ukrainian startup, and this is actually interesting because I learned Java in the same way with the code gym. In Ukraine, they're called Java Rush, and they expanded to Europe and all the world. But they were initially from Ukraine, and they contributed to my success as a developer a lot. That was one of the most influential things for me, and if not them, I wouldn't be where I am. So I was really, really intrigued when you said that you learned with the code gym because that was the case for me as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't want to, how to say it, to be that guy that makes marketing uh, tricks or something like that. But believe me, I really, really enjoyed learning on CodeGym, and there are lots of stuff on there. I mean, their paid program is really amazing. They have, I don't know, maybe 1,200 plus coding tasks for each and every topic that you can think of. And if you go to all of those, I can assure that you're going to be an amazing developer one day. For example, take Igor. He's another example of this.
I solved
Uh,
most of the tasks
yeah,
there. So I indeed I solved I think almost like 1,000 tasks there. Do you think it's the most important that you solve like that many tasks? Because I think what people really underestimate is how many tasks or how much practice do you actually need to become a developer. Someone who want to become a developer goes and solves like 20 tasks on Trailhead, and they're like, oh, why I'm still not developer? Well, because you need to solve 1,000 tasks, right? Not 20.
yeah,
What do you think about it?
exactly. I totally agree with you. I mean, in order to become a better developer, all you need to do is solve as many tasks as you can. I mean, there are tons of different websites with such coding tasks. It doesn't matter the coding language. You can code in whatever you can think of. The only thing that matters is to solve as many tasks as possible. This is it. I mean, with the experience comes the how to say the you have that approach to solve problems. I mean, this is how you gain the proper experience, in my opinion. I mean, at some point, all the issues that you face in your day-to-day tasks as a developer, things start to repeat themselves. I mean, you see the same patterns here and there, and you start solving such problems quite faster, if you ask me. And unfortunately, I literally love Trailhead, but I don't think that it's the proper place to start learning development there.
Exactly. One of my dreams would be to develop Java Rush for Apex. That's something that Salesforce needs so much, right? We don't have a place with 1,000 tasks. Even if we had like a repository with 1,000 tasks, that would be nice. But not the tasks of like not 1,000 triggers, but the tasks for like small like variables. How like create 10 variables. That's awesome, but that doesn't exist in Salesforce.
Yeah, exactly. Or basic SQL queries. So also something that it's gonna be really helpful. I mean, a lot of people still. I mean, if you take an admin that I don't know, he doesn't know any Apex at all. He doesn't know coding. But for example, every admin can benefit truly a lot by using Salesforce Inspector Reloaded, for example, and just writing some basic SQL queries.
So what happens next? You discovered CodeGym. What happens next?
Well, the moment I discovered CodeGym, if I remember correctly, I started spending much lesser time for sleeping. Uh, I was sleeping probably 5 or 6 hours maximum per day, and every day, I'm sorry, but every freaking day, I was coding from probably 9:30 or 10 a.m. up until 2 3 a.m., something like that, every day. No weekends, no parties, no special occasions, no nothing. I mean, I was literally coding every day. It doesn't matter what happens. Maybe something small, maybe something real stupid, as you said, just playing around with some variables or trying to solve something really hard for me. But every day, you just need to code. This is the only approach. You cannot just how to grab a book, read it, no matter 500 to 1,000 pages, and learn how to code. You just need to code. This is it. I really like your approach of teaching people. I mean, giving them as many coding tasks as possible in order to teach how to think as a developer. So this was my I don't know. This was the only thing that I was doing for maybe 6 or 7 months or something like that. I finished that course that I started in November, and I was told that I'm ready for a junior developer role. But again, Another issue was that the COVID and the consequences of it were still hitting the business, if I might say. And not many companies were looking for fresh developers. Probably if you were a mid developer or a senior developer, you will be able to find a job. But just starting as a fresher, it was a really, really hard job for me. The other thing was that back then I was probably 33 years old, if I remember, and all the companies were looking for freshers from just graduating from universities for, I don't know, probably last year or something like that. And almost nobody was going to give a chance to some older guy. I think I was not that old, but I don't know. It depends on what the companies were looking for. So I've probably sent more than 200 CVs for a junior developer roles, and I wasn't accepted to any of those, not even an interview.
Not
The
even on
most
interview. So 200 applications and not even interview, right?
No, no, not a single interview.
How did
All
how did you feel about it?
uh, if I say great, will you believe me?
No.
Uh, it was really frustrating because I was looking at the calendar and I was like, okay, I'm almost out of time. I really, really need to find a job. I was having maybe 4 months or 4.5 months, something like that, in order to find a job, and things were not looking very good. I mean, I started thinking about again international truck driver role, despite all the efforts that I've put in learning how to code. But again, life is life. You cannot do anything about it. But I didn't quit. I mean, I've kept sending CVs, and when sourcing to the replies that I get, if I get any replies, was that people were looking for candidates with some experience, no matter how small, no matter how months, maybe even 1 or 2 months of experience would benefit me a lot, but I didn't get any. So I decided that I'm gonna start sending CVs for a internship role. I mean, I was thinking, hey, I still have 4 months and a half until my program is ending, so I can use this time properly to at least find an internship. So I started sending CVs. Probably I've sent about 80 or 90 of those. I'm not quite sure, but again, quite a lot. Uh, I was given some coding tasks to solve in order to uh, be led to face an real HR with at least to get an interview. Uh, the funny part was that you apply for internship for a junior developer role and you get some tasks that are probably for a mid developer, which was, I don't know, at least in my opinion, a bit strange. But everybody, I mean, all the companies probably try to find uh, the better candidate. I have no idea. Uh, Probably on the fourth month, I mean, I had 4 months of remaining as time. Um, I got accepted to attend 3 or 4 programs. I'm not exactly sure, probably four. And I've decided to start, at least to try my luck with a Bulgarian company. Uh, the process was quite hard. I mean, we started with an interview with a senior or a lead developer to check our technical knowledge, and we had another interview with an HR. Uh, the whole part, I mean, the this part of the interview took probably an hour or hour and a half. We had some coding tasks to solve, and afterwards, I received an email that I'm accepted as a to the internship program of that company. And I will remember this always, that we had a meeting with the CTO of the company. He told us that on the job offer in LinkedIn or in a Bulgarian website, I'm not quite sure, they received about 2,500 applications, something like that. Uh, when we started the program, we were two groups divided by Java and C Sharp. Uh, Probably 25 people per group, something like that, out of 2,500. So it was quite interesting. Uh, the internship was probably 3 months, and I mean, the speed of that was something that I was not prepared for, definitely. I was always the last one sending my homework. I was always asking most of the questions. I mean, I was not prepared for this, definitely. We had one-on-one conversations with the. I mean, everybody had a manager, and we have one-on-one meetings with our manager just to check how it's going, if it's working for us, and so on. And I had that conversation with my manager. He told me, "Do you feel okay with your work?" I said, "No. I mean, I see that I'm always the last one." And she told me, "You know what? Why don't you quit and try next year, for example?" And I said, "I don't have a next year. I mean, it's either this or something else." I do not want to mention the truck driver offer again. And she said, "Okay, think about it and let me know if you decide to quit, because too many people already have quitted the program because of the tempo and all the speeds that they couldn't. Um, I mean, too many people didn't feel comfortable enough to keep working in the program, so they decided to quit by their own. And I've told her that it's either this or I don't have any other choice. I mean, if you decide to uh, not fire me, but uh, kick me out of the program, that's okay. I mean, it's your decision, but I'm not quitting. I'm gonna finish this program. And yeah, 3 months later, I had the final interview for a job, and the offer was they accept our internship as a real experience. And if you pass that technical interview with a mid and a senior developer, you're going to be a junior developer in that company. Uh, Probably this is the part where I actually read more than I've read it in my entire life, to be honest. I mean, for one weekend, I had to read, I don't remember the name of that book, but uh, I think it was some kind of a preparation book for Java Certification 1 by Oracle,
Mm.
something like that. I mean, at least 500 or 600 pages, something like that. I had to read it for one weekend in order to prepare for that interview. I was, I don't know, extremely nervous. I mean, this was something that definitely my life depended on. And I remember my interview. My interviewers were truly amazing. I'm still working with one of the interviewers at the moment, and she's an amazing person, definitely. Uh, Here, just as an advice, if you attend an interview and you see that some of the people outside are not trying to help you, or they try to ask you the wrong questions, or they want to see how much stuff you don't know, don't get nervous. Don't worry. It's okay to say, "I'm not aware of this topic. I'm not sure about it." Or at least say, "I've read this and this, but I'm not quite sure. I've never used it. This is the only thing that I know. Don't start thinking, I'm gonna say this, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna say it. Just say, I'm not used to it. Sorry, not not used to it. I'm not aware of this topic. It's okay. And I had to wait probably 15 days or 20 days, something like that, in order to receive the result of my technical interview. And I don't know, probably it was fate, something like that. I'm not sure, because my program ended on the 30th of August, if I remember correctly. And I received my answer the 25th of August, something like that. I mean, probably 1 week before my program ended. And if I receive you're not accepted as a junior developer, I really should start looking for another job. But I was accepted. And this is the moment where I got COVID the first time. I should start working on the 1st of September, if I remember correctly. And I started on the 14th. I'm not sure, because of that COVID. So probably I'm missing a lot of stuff, but more or less, this is my story. 2 years later, I'm working as a Salesforce developer. I got introduced to Salesforce once I got into the company. I really literally fell in love with this technology. I mean, it's an entire ecosystem. You have so many paths to uh, go. I mean, you can never stop learning. It's evolving every single day. You meet amazing people, and it's truly amazing. I mean, Salesforce is literally my life at the moment.
This is an incredible story worth a movie. What kept you
Thank you.
pushing while others were quitting? What differentiates you back then to the other people who started the journey with you?
Probably the fact that I didn't want to become a truck driver. I think. I mean, I didn't like the alternative. Definitely. I mean, I was prepared for it, but I've decided that there's a better way, and the better way only needs a little push from my side. The only thing that I've learned from my personal experience is that the moment you start thinking about quitting, if you quit, that's it. You're never gonna do it. Don't quit. Just keep pushing. I know it's hard. I've had some tasks back in the beginning that I spent probably 10 or 15 days on it. Uh, I've probably I wanted to throw my laptop out of the balcony more than 20 times only coding these tasks. And the moment I solved it, I've learned that no matter how hard it is, you always can find a way through it. I mean, those just don't quit. Push, never stop. This is it.
It's interesting. It resonates a lot with me because what interesting about your story that didn't you didn't how to say it. Mm, you were trying not to go other path and you choose this path, right? So
Mhm.
do you do you do you think you love coding, or do you think you need to love coding in order to become a developer?
Um, if you ask me personally, I really love to code. I mean, with all the topics of AI uh, right now, I still love to code, no matter what people are saying that artificial intelligence is gonna remove all the developers from the market. I still love to code because it teaches you how to think. This is it. I mean, nothing more. It's like game addiction. I mean, I cannot explain it in other way. Uh, is it okay to not love coding and become a developer? Probably, but it's gonna be even harder for you. I mean, if you have that addiction to coding, the same as, I don't know, gaming, for example. It's the easiest example. Uh, it's definitely gonna be something of a great help for you. But if you think that coding is not your stuff, there are quite some other paths that you can take. I mean, in Salesforce, for example, you have an admin, you can be a consultant, you can be whatever you want. You don't need to learn how to code. But again, I highly recommend, even if you're a consultant, an architect, it doesn't matter, just learn how to code. It's of amazing help to you.
I agree. I agree. So even if AI takes all the developer jobs, you would still coding.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, if you're a fan of, I don't know, StarCraft, Diablo, Counter Strike, yeah, if for any reason there's something new coming out on the market, will you still be playing those games, or are you gonna quit? It's the same stuff. I mean, you're just addicted to it.
That's super interesting. That's super interesting. So you were the piece that I'm missing from the story. You were learning Java, and then you
Yeah,
end up with the Salesforce. How did you end up with the Salesforce? When did you see it for the first time, and what were your first thoughts when you saw this uh, blue
well,
interface?
yeah. Uh, Probably it was the last month during my internship. The company that I was working, I mean, the internship by the company uh, was all in Java and C Sharp, the other group. But the company had different departments. They had Android development, iOS development, Salesforce, DevOps, and some other departments. And for 1 week, I think every day we had a presentation of a different department, because, again, it doesn't matter what kind of a language you're learning to code with. You can easily transfer those skills and that knowledge to a different technology. I mean, if you have the basis, you can easily learn the syntax of everything. So Android, if you learn Java, perfect. If you know C Sharp and you decide that you want to learn iOS development, again, not an easy job, but you can easily transfer to to that technology. And one of the presentations was for Salesforce. Um, to be honest, I've never heard about Salesforce before that presentation. Uh, Something grabbed me. I don't know what, but probably the guy who presented it, an amazing developer with really a lot of knowledge. And I've just got curious. I mean, that curiosity that started me to coding got fired up again. So the moment that presentation ended, I started digging about Salesforce. I remember that I spent probably 5 or 6 hours looking around the internet for all the information I can gather for Salesforce. Uh, I've found out that it's a really, really huge company. I found out Trailhead, the free part of learning, really, really, really got inspired me to start digging in. I mean, I really like the community. I saw all the forums, all the places that people are helping each other. I mean, everybody was sharing knowledge just like that, only because they would like to help somebody else. Uh, all of a sudden, I ended up with the profile of um, David Liu, if you know that guy. He's
Of course, I
an
think
amazing.
everyone knows him.
Yeah, I assume, but David Liu is a senior architect at Google, I think, at the moment. He lives in America, and he was probably the face of Salesforce back then. I mean, he's super famous. Everybody from the community knows him, or at least have heard his name. And I don't know, something bugged me back then. I decided to write an email to David. I've told him my story. I've shared with him that I'm currently learning Java and I got an offer to transfer to Salesforce department if I wish. And I don't know. I just decided to try it out. I found that uh, if you don't try, you fail 100%. I know it's a cliche, but if you don't try, it's a 100% fail. If you try, that's a 50% success, 50% fail. So just try it. I wrote an email to David and he answered me the next day. I don't know why it was that fast, but uh, I still remember his words. Go for it. You're gonna love Salesforce. It's an amazing. Uh, and I've just decided to try it out. I mean, David was probably one of the Salesforce stars in the. I mean, one of the biggest Salesforce stars in the world. So if he says that I should try it out, I decided to try it out, and this is it. I mean, only afterwards I started as a junior Salesforce developer in that company. Uh, I couldn't sleep normal because I wanted to learn as much as I can, the fast as I can. Not a good idea. Don't do it. I mean, you're gonna skip a lot of stuff. You're gonna skip a lot of basic knowledge that you're really gonna need it later on in your journey. Find your how to say it. Find your tempo in learning. Don't push things the way I did it. It's not the best the best way.
Going back to your email to David Liu, it's incredible how much you can actually get if you just try or if you just ask. Like
Yeah,
I
exactly.
wrote once email to David Liu with when I did one of my posts, and he replied the same day, and I was like, wow, because he's my hero too. I started my career also with with David Liu videos. I watched his videos. I remember when I was a student, I was in my student dorm and I was watching David Liu videos, and I was like, this guy has no idea how much influence he has over like random people over the world, like someone in Bulgaria, someone in Germany who are sitting at the home and watching his videos and really getting inspired. And that was happened to me, and like your story resonates so much with me because it's insane how much what you say. If you don't try, it's 100% you fail, but if you try, it's maybe you fail, maybe not, right?
Exactly. I know so
It's
many people
incredible.
that I mean, after I became a developer, I mean, I had the job. Uh, so many people were asking me, "Wow, you became a developer. That's amazing. Isn't that too hard?" I mean, yeah, it's hard, but it's achievable. I mean, becoming an astronaut it's also something that's also, I mean, harder than becoming a developer, but there are still people working at it. So why don't you try it? No, no, this is too hard for me. I'm definitely not gonna make it. I mean, too many people are starting with that. Uh, how to say it? I mean, they already quit even before they have started. Try it out, push it. I mean, don't quit. If you do it, if I can, if you can, it's something normal. If it's a skill that you learn, everybody can do it.
So you think everyone can become a developer?
Oh, definitely. It all depends on the will, on the motivation, and again, just the desire to achieve the end goal.
And no halfway decisions, right? Because if you don't go, if you don't try with all your heart, right? Like, don't try only half like, yeah, I'm trying, but also like today I'm watching Netflix instead of trying, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
if you don't really want it so much, chances are you're not gonna make it unless you're like really good at it, really smart, or like really born talented. Then you maybe can try just a little bit and then become a developer. But for most people, you really have to try so much and want it so much and want it over a long time, right? It's not like you have a motivation on Sunday, and then you go code for a little bit, and then your motivation drops. You need to find something like in your case, you didn't have a choice, right? You either you're gonna be a truck driver, international truck driver, or you will become developer. You don't have a choice. It's not really a choice. You have to. There's no other way. You have to.
Definitely. I mean, again, I really liked that thing that you said. You have to put your heart in it. I mean, I was thinking so many nights before getting asleep that I actually don't want to be a truck driver, you know. I don't want to be far away from my family for 4 to 6 to 8 months or sleeping in the truck cabin or something like that. I want to be next to my family. Want to work as a developer. It's interesting. I like it. This is the thing that I want to do, and I can do it. The only thing, it's I mean, I have to put anything I can into it. This is it. Nothing more, nothing less. And you can do it. It all depends on you. So just go do it. Nothing more.
Totally. I think it's gonna motivate some people to actually go and do it. Um, that is awesome. Now, going back when you started working as a Salesforce developer, um, how long did it take until you got your first task, and
Um,
until you basically contributed and pushed your first working code into production?
so the moment I started working as a developer, it was probably mid-September. Uh, we had some trainings going on. We had some introductions. We had to meet our new colleagues, our onboarding buddies. My onboarding buddy, Marian, I'm gonna remember this guy for probably the rest of my life. Um, I remember that probably by the end of November or the mid December, something like that, same year, we had to acquire Platform Developer 1 certificate, and we were mostly preparing for it in the meantime. But also, uh, we started working on some small tasks. So, probably my first task as a developer was in November or February, something like that next year. So probably 4 months after I started as a junior developer, something like that. And my first client's project working as a support developer to a senior and mid colleagues was in March or April, if I'm not mistaken. And probably this is something interesting to know. I was preparing for a backend developer for maybe a year and a half already or something like that. And my first project was a front end. I mean, I really had to transfer my skills to JavaScript as quick as possible. And again, something that I should be really thankful to my senior colleague back then. Uh, he really helped me. I mean, we had coding sessions for 6, 7, 8 hours per day, something like that. And for 2 or 3 months, I decided that I should acquire JavaScript developer certificate by Salesforce, which I did. So sorry for uh, talking about it, but to answer your question, my first coding task was probably 4 months after I started working as a junior developer.
So in total, it's over the year since you started learning and till your first basically task that you completed as a
Yeah,
developer.
more or less, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and it's still quick. So I think it's still really really quick. It's definitely
Oh yeah,
quicker
definitely.
than it's really quick. It's definitely quicker than for me. Like because it takes a lot of time, and people really underestimate how long it takes for to becoming a developer if you don't have any coding skills, especially, or even if you have some coding skills like you did, right? Um, still takes at least a year to become a developer, not like 4 months or something.
Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, if you ask me if I had the time, uh, the normal way to do it is probably invest an year and a half in learning the basics. It doesn't matter if you decide starting with Java or C Sharp or Apex directly. I prefer Java because it has some cool stuff that you will not able to see in Apex, and it's good to I don't know, just to know them, just to see how things work, and only afterwards move to Apex. But again, you can easily start with Apex directly, but just invest at least a year only learning how to code. I mean, the basic stuff, the things that you teach, start from something as I don't know, variables, collections, and so on. And again, I really love Trailhead, but I don't think it's the best place to start learning to code. For everything else,
Agree.
yeah, the my first choice of it. But for Apex, probably a better idea to start digging around for different resources.
Totally agree. So what is the worst and the best part of being a Salesforce developer?
Interesting question. The worst part for me is, and this is me being completely honest, the worst part for me is that I always uh, have issues with the imposter syndrome, definitely. And this is not something in the Salesforce development only. I mean, you can see it probably everywhere. I always think of myself as the stupid person in a meeting or in the room. It doesn't matter. I know that sometimes I find solutions that are really helpful, that are insightful. I'm helping as much as I can. I try to learn every day as much as I can, but still, I don't feel that knowledgeable. I want to feel comfortable with all the things that I've learned, and I want to contribute to uh, my project, to help my colleagues, to help somebody in the community as much as I can. But I always feel that there's something more, there's something missing. You really have to learn a little bit more in order to feel comfortable. This is my main problem at the moment, at least. The best part, mm, the best part for me is probably the opportunity to help somebody in the community. I mean, uh, I had an idea of a blog. I started writing some Salesforce hacks and some small articles about, I don't know, some small issue that I found in Salesforce. And I found a workaround for it or something like that. And I've decided to share it with the community. There is a website called ideas.salesforce where, for example, if something is missing on the platform, you can start a discussion. Uh, Something like, hey, Salesforce, you're not having this functionality here and there. Can you please add it to the platform? And if you get enough votes, if you had enough discussions on that post, actually Salesforce can add this to the platform as a working solution. uh, Once I was trying to find a workaround for, I don't know, something small, and it turned out that there is not a correct working solution for this. I ended up on the ideas website, and I've decided to share my solution on there. And a couple of months later, uh, probably it helped a lot of people because all of a sudden I got probably 2,000 or something like that visits on my article. And there was a guy who commented something like, this decision is really amazing. You need to receive a special star by Mark Benioff or something like that. And I mean, thinking about it, this is a guy who probably lives on the other part of the planet, facing the very same issue that I had, and I've helped him without knowing him, without knowing who he is actually, what he does. But at some point, my article, no matter how small, it actually helped him in something that he faced. So probably this is the best part: sharing knowledge with the community and helping people all around.
Do you remember what was the idea? Because now I'm super curious. What was the idea or workaround?
Uh, it was something like, I'm gonna send you the post again. Something small, but obviously something helpful for enough people.
So the
The
idea
comment.
is, yeah, the idea is to allow global action to let users choose the record type when creating a record. Currently, when you create global action to create record for an object with different record types, you must select one type to create. Instead, I would like to be able to let the record type be chosen by the user at runtime instead of pre-selecting the record type. I see. Awesome.
And there was a comment down below.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I had okay. Hello everyone. I don't know if you still problem, but I use this approach and it does the trick for me. If I understood correctly, I had the very same issue. I hope it works for your cases as well. And then the link to your website with the Salesforce
yep,
hack custom new object button option to select record. Okay. Awesome. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah, this is crazy how internet enables. So that goes back to the David Liu, right? That's the guy in Google in
exactly.
California answering you in Bulgaria, not knowing each other, but it you still have the connection because you kind of watch his videos. It's kind of like more one-directional connections, right? You know him very well, but he doesn't know you.
Exactly. I mean, I felt exactly like you. I mean, I was sitting in the middle of the night watching his videos, and he's super talented in, I don't know, presenting Salesforce to the public and giving you that push that you need in order to keep moving forward. I mean, he's an amazing guy, definitely.
Yeah. Do you feel comfortable saying I don't know in the meetings? Because you mentioned your imposter syndrome, something that I also have. Do you feel comfortable when you go to a meeting or like just going somewhere admitting that you don't know something?
Do you meet a meeting with some other colleagues, or on interview meeting, or in
Just in
general?
general, so you mentioned in the beginning that when you don't know, you have to just admit that you don't know. This is something that for me was super difficult to do, and um, partly because of the imposter syndrome, because um, you feel like you have to know everything. And for me personally, saying that I don't know something, no matter where, like on the meeting, on the interview, somewhere else, that was very, very, very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, when attending an interview for a job, saying I don't know this, probably it's the better thing than trying to talk to say something stupid to the interviewer, because the interviewer probably knows quite a lot already, and he's gonna know if you try to, I don't know, try to say something completely different. I mean, it's a better approach to just say, I've read this and that, I've heard something about this topic, but I'm not quite aware of it. So I prefer to not answer this question. For example, uh, when in a client meeting, probably it's not a good idea to say, I don't know this. Probably a better approach is to say, let me verify it for you. I'm gonna update you on that, or something like that. I mean, on that kind of meetings, don't say I don't know, because uh, in those meetings, it's expected from you to know everything.
Oh, I think it depends. I say I don't know whenever I don't know something. So I say that I don't say like I don't know and then shut up. No, I say like so I'm not really sure how to
Yeah,
do it
yeah,
exactly. I'm gonna need to go and research it more, and then I'm gonna come back to you with an answer. Yeah, I see. But like the mistake that I was doing in the beginning is when I didn't know, I was trying to come up still with some kind of solution, just guessing, and then I was telling some solution. Then at the end, it was completely wrong, and I it was quite quite a wrong approach that I had to learn hard way.
exactly my point. I mean, it's better to say, I'm not quite sure. Give me some time to research it, as you said. Uh, Give me some time to investigate what's going on there. I'm gonna give you some updates on this topic. I'm gonna tell you what's going on. I mean, there's always a way how to say it, but definitely not a good approach, as you mentioned. Start giving a solution without being sure about it.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things that I'm working now is I'm trying to develop something, course, platform, no matter what, YouTube videos for people who are just starting out, admins who want to learn how to code in Salesforce, um, other people who want to break into Salesforce industry and want to learn how to code. Because I think that now we're going into market that is much more um, much more difficult market that it was, let's say, 4 years ago when I started. What do you think? What are we missing in Salesforce to make the life of people easier who want to break in and learn how to code?
Probably something that you said in the beginning of our conversation. We don't have the proper approach on Trailhead. I mean, Trailhead is probably the first and only place that people go when try to learn something new in regards to Salesforce. But for those people who are just starting to learn how to code, it's probably not the best place. We are missing exactly that. I mean, uh, probably some tells exactly uh, for those kind of individuals who have some knowledge about Salesforce, and they want to start learning how to code. They want to transfer their knowledge and acquire new ones. um, I would really like to see, uh, as you mentioned, something like CodeGym in Apex kind of way.
Advice for someone who is not sure or just starting out with learning Apex.
Invest some time in research, find the proper resources, start learning from the basics. If you're an admin and have some knowledge about Salesforce, probably the best idea is to start working on some small tasks with flows, because there are a lot of stuff that are not exactly the same but quite similar as uh, for example, you can use variables in flows. You'll feel much more comfortable using the user interface, uh, and probably check your website before starting to learn anything new.
Thank you. And the last question: if people want to connect with you, um, where should they go?
Everybody can find my profile on LinkedIn. I'm always happy to meet new people. Uh, I'm always happy to help somebody, give an advice if I'm able to. So go ahead and just find me on LinkedIn.
Thank you, Tsenko. It was very inspiring. Thank you.
Thanks, Igor. Thanks for having me again.